In Fraser Park, California, this fella, John, has got a big project. Of course, typical car guy stuff, we start with the Grand Tour.
I'd say I'm a collector. I have a lot of international harvesters.
I guess you're like into the whole military truck thing.
Well, I have some military stuff. I've gotten rid of a lot of it.
What's with the ammo boxes?
Parts storage.
I guess you got a lot of parts. This is my kind of guy. He's got parts all over the place, a collection of just military stuff. Whoa. So this is like a Jeep front, but it's an
That's a M725 ambulance, Vietnam era.
like a MASH Jeep.
I used to have all of them. I had the 715, the 726, and the 724. And as years have gone on, I got a few other little military things laying around.
Holy moly. He said he had a big truck, so I'm thinking like a lifted 4x4 or something. I walk up on it, and this is like massive.
Yeah, it's a Mack 10-ton, 10-wheel drive, and M123A1 Charlie.
I don't know what all that means, but I could tell it's big, it's heavy duty, it's all business.
It was for hauling tanks, or armored vehicles. I ended up getting it from my friend that had a wrecking yard. Cost me a searchlight off of a World War II destroyer that I had.
So, I mean, what's the end game? What's your ultimate plan for this fine
The end
machine?
game, I'm going to use it as a fully self-contained all-terrain motorhome when I want to go camping and/or four-wheeling.
Anywhere.
And pretty much anywhere if it'll fit.
I see. The ultimate bug-out vehicle
Yes.
for the end of days. I guess in simplest terms, John wants an off-road RV. What?
Well, I'd like to turn it into an extra cab or a crew cab.
John starts explaining that he actually wants to create a four-door vehicle. He has a bunch of other pickup trucks around, and they're four-door utility vehicles, and he wants to mimic that look with this giant truck. I've done a couple other big truck projects, and what always amazed me is how small they are inside. It's pretty crazy. Even like a passenger car has more room inside than this. So I could see why you want to extend this cab, because you're right up on the wheel. You want to recline a bit.
I'm 6'2", slightly portly, so my belly hits the steering wheel, so I need a little more room in the cab.
What if we just got a duplicate cab and welded that on and made that the four-door
That's
body?
kind of what my idea was.
Okay.
I've got a friend, he's got a cab. Got to go find a command shack for it, which is an 8x8x12 insulated shack.
He wants to put some kind of a camper box on the back.
Military used the command shack for sometimes small weapons, fix-its in the field where they repair them. They called them an M109.
This is par for the course in any project. John's attempting to convince me he's building a practical vehicle out of the most impractical parts I've ever seen. Count me in. You got 3 pieces. All we need to do is get one of them in the shop.
Which is supposed to be 10.5 feet from the top of the stacks down. If I measured right, it should fit in the doors. If it doesn't, it will make its own hole.
There's no way this box is going on the truck in the shop, but if I can get this truck inside, it's gonna be way nicer. Always wanted to drive one of these things. I've been wanting to drive this thing since I saw it in his driveway. Here it is, I'm ready to roll.
See, it's a little bit, it's not made for people of our size, really. Oh, you can get it.
Made for teenagers, man. This thing is pretty raw. The only thing I can compare it to that I've ever driven is like a race car because it's very mechanical. You feel everything. The clutch on this thing is hard. It shifts like an old truck. I like it. I was just gonna turn this thing around and try to park it in the shop, but as soon as I turn the wheel, power steering. I'm gonna take this thing around the block a few times.
Oh, and he's driving my truck around on the lot. It looks really neat. I like it. I didn't like it when he went out and down the street because I didn't know if he was going to bring it back.
This was a full adrenaline rush, you know, testosterone to the brain. Just driving this thing for a couple blocks, I wanted it, man. 900 cubic inches, that's all I have to say. You get that with a manual 5-speed, I don't care if you're going 2 miles an hour. I wanted this truck. Now I just gotta see if this thing will fit in the shop.
Big outside. It looks bigger inside because it just barely fit.
Is it gonna fit?
But it's just a little truck.
I love this thing.
Ain't she a peach?
I want one. That's the test drive. I'm sold. I'll take it. I'll build you 9 cars. I will sign off. I'll build you 9 more cars if you let me have this one.
No, mine. It's my little baby. This is one of my dream projects I've had for many years, and my wife would probably kill me if I came home with 9 more.
After being able to drive this, all of a sudden I got a whole new perspective. I'm ready to rock this thing out, man. This is cool. This big truck is in the house. It's time to get started on it. We got a couple good ideas. All I need to do is make it happen. All right. So we got one big truck, and one piece of another big truck. It's not designed to just mate up to the other one in the way he wants to do it. The good thing about this is that it's an exact duplicate of the truck he has. The rear wall will be retaining, and then the doors are stock doors if we can find a pair. So the good thing is it matches that style perfectly. This is some heavy military equipment. I'm not even a gun fan, but after driving that truck, I started to feel like Rambo. Not only were they cool on the truck, but they're even cooler in hand. You know, they say a bird in the bush, that type of thing. These things make good-looking faux weapons. If we don't use them on the truck, I'm keeping them. Every time I wake up, I'm back in Saigon. Looking over the truck, I realized that the whole roof unbolts. I have seen these without roofs, and now I know why. They pop right off just like a Jeep or a Ford Bronco. Just a bunch of series of bolts, and it comes off in one piece. This roof is way off the ground. It's gonna be tough for one person to take it off, but I got a couple of angle irons that I'm using for the rocker panels. I'm just gonna make a slide and slide it away. So, these are actually gonna be the rocker panels. I just use them to slide that roof off, but they gotta stay here anyway. One thing I didn't realize was how much taper there is in this cab. If you look at it, these walls are getting wider as they come back. I knew it was tapered, but not this much. Let's see what we got. Because the cabs are the same, I'm gonna measure this one on the floor just to see how much it tapers. It's a good 8 or 9 inches narrower in the front. I think the easiest option is gonna be to cut this body right in half and open up the triangle. The whole issue here is you have 2 triangles stacking behind each other, and I'm gonna put a square behind a triangle. First thing is always cutting it apart. Typical story of the butcher in the meat market. He knows how to cut the cow, I cut the car. So I cut everything away that holds this triangular shape in place, and now I can just swing the walls out independently, and the triangle becomes a square.
My back isn't working so good and stuff. I have a hard time walking, so I'm sitting here directing from the director's chair to see what he's doing and help him out and give him ideas that he probably has already thought of. As he got the cab up onto the truck, now he's kind of manhandling it in. Those days are gone for me.
Like a glove.
That's almost there.
Looks like I know how to measure after all. What do you think?
It's a big truck to begin with, but now as it's being pieced together, it's getting bigger.
John was only theorizing on this whole setup too, so once I get this body in place, he starts double thinking his measurement on the box that he's gonna put on the back.
I may have mismeasured the back. I'll have to measure it.
His primary concern is he doesn't want this thing overhanging the rear bumper. He did a couple guesstimations. We just gotta verify that it's all gonna work.
Of course, we need to double check my measurements to make sure the command shack will fit on it.
Talking about wanting to see the back bumper, right?
Yep.
Walking back out to the box, I hadn't taken a second look at it, but it really has to match this chassis. Otherwise, we're gonna have to do something. Best case scenario would be that this box fits. We get to keep our body as it is, and we carry on. Well, this is measuring 12'6" outside.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back in, measure the truck. If we got at least 12'6", it's gonna work. If we leave this bracket and place, I'm measuring 12'11" to the end of the bumper, so that's like a 5-inch slack. So we got a few inches to spare. Just like a pickup truck, there'll be a good space between the box and the cab. Structurally, that's gonna work and that's gonna work. The main concern for me is mating up these two bodies. Now we have this mismatch where the old fender used to bolt on. He wanted to retain the vent that was in the cowl.
I was thinking just wanting like making this a solid wall. Bring it up the top.
What if you just framed up 2 sticks and put a window in place, just a solid mount window?
As the two cabs are coming together, he explained to me how he was going to put a window in there or just leave it a flat metal plate.
So see if we just sheet straight through, leave the vent, we'll cover all this straight through. And then if we have a fixed window right there, it makes it look a lot more open air. You still get the support. And then when you're sitting in your driver's seat back here, you're not looking at a wall if you turn your head.
That's a good idea. Excellent.
That'll work.
So it'll look like it was naturally made as a crew cab from the factory.
Setting these two bodies together wasn't a huge challenge in my head, so I'm glad it worked out. It's the unseen that kind of gets you. We got through this part of it. It's very simple sheet metal patchwork now. John's working on getting a couple doors. For me, the big concern, aside from the doors, is the roof. So I just put a little skim of filler over the welded area. It doesn't have to be show car straight. It's gonna be this simple rattle can camo paint job, but I didn't want any of the welded seams to show. All in all, it works cool. I think the big seller in the whole thing is the vents, you know? That little detail right here tells you it's the same truck, the rare factory 4-door version. Everything about this was very straightforward. I think the roof is gonna be a different story. John and I kicked back and forth a few ideas, but nothing makes a decision like seeing the mock-up. So, in the industry, we call this the roof holder-upper tool. So, not only do I have to repair this dent, but I gotta change the profile of the sidewalls. And I don't think all my martial arts experience in the world gonna fix. Oh, look at that. It's almost perfect. What do you think, Hellhound? Is it gonna work? Just like the other projects I've changed the roofs on, this is a really hard shape to make. Thus, our blueprint will begin. The thing is, you almost can't use this because the taper is now different. So to just splice in a small sheet, it's probably just easier to make a whole new side profile and top skin. All through here, this is enemy territory. John was asking about maybe putting a higher crown towards the rear. If you're looking at the truck, he wants this to be maybe a little bit taller. The whole idea being up there in the mountains, it does snow fairly heavily, as infrequently as it may be. He's talking about more of a wedge, let it slide off when the sun comes out. So I got the two cabs welded together. It's looking good. John's coming in today. I got the doors. I'm not even gonna tell him about the seats. That's kind of a surprise. I just want him to come in, see what's going on, you know, feed him little pieces at a time.
Look what I got.
All right. Hysterical vehicles.
Hysterical. Oh, upside down. Well, that's all right. When I first came in, I knew he was working fast, but I didn't know he was working fast.
I got some work done on the cab. I got the roof started.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, we just needed some doors to wrap that up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to look around as hard. Glad that he got the doors, was able to find them, because they're out there. They're just kind of hard to find.
He was really trying to come up with some, and I guess the guys who want them want to hold on to them. So it was cool that I got them. It's going to really help streamline the process. Well, let's see if them doors are going to fit. I'll push this up against the truck.
You get out of the way then.
We go to put this thing on, of course, right away. I'm expecting the worst, like it's not gonna fit. No, these hinges are all ganked up.
You want a little hammer to tap it in? Oh, there you got it. Almost there.
Yeah, these have just never been put together. Stubborn. All right.
Emergency persuasion was indicated.
That part worked. Hey.
All right, whoa.
Yeah, door gaps are good. That's good. All we have to do is loosen up the hinges, align them, and it popped right on. It was the right door for the job. Window rolled right up and the door latched tight.
Ah, that looks really good. Now it's looking like a truck again, a big truck.
If you're cool with just letting me go on that window detail, I can build that out, but what I really needed your input was how much you wanted that back of that roof to come up.
Okay.
Since John wants this thing angled up in the rear, that's the first thing we need to mock up is exactly what the roof pitch is gonna be. So, a couple envisioning tools, couple stacking blocks, and we're on to the mock-up.
When we started talking about the roof, Ian and I didn't really want to have a flat roof, and Ian came up with this idea of matching the roof to the contour of a portion of the front hood.
Well, what I'm seeing, style-wise, see how that hood does that little detail?
Yeah.
If those two angles kind of flow together, like if you were to put, this is one of my envisioning tools. You gotta squint one eye and then you take a lean. So if you look at that angle,
right,
and you transfer that angle to the roof, so I think that has to come up about 6 inches minimum.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
There's like this cool curved angle in the hood. I think I'm gonna try to translate that to the look in the roof.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. You have to come down and look and see if you concur.
That's the way I do it. Take a bunch of sticks, stand back, look at it, and if it's good, we go forward. Now, I think that angle though, see, even from here looking at that and then look at the break on the hood, more matching what's going on the hood. This detail is a subtlety. It matters to me because I'm trying to make the coolest truck ever. And that's what you gotta do.
What are you gonna use out of the original roof? Just the two ends that are up there after you cut it?
Those compound curves at the back corner are really hard to make.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use those, and I'm gonna use the detail with the weather strip that goes to the windshield. The main thing I'm trying to do here is just establish some kind of a strong base that we can build off of. Extending the cab means this roof is pretty darn big. It's about 24, 25 square foot. So I need to build a structure that's super strong. It's pretty simple in concept, but the actual layout is pretty complex. The sides have to be parallel. The whole roof surface has to be smooth. You don't want it to look all freaked out and wavy, and that's really what this inner skeleton dictates.
When he finally finished getting all the ribs kind of mocked into place, we stepped back and took a better look at it.
So if you're happy with this layout,
Yeah.
I can go ahead and I'll make a whole skeleton structure before we do any skinning.
Yeah, I'm glad you got the other doors so you could put it together. Now it looks really, now you can really see what it looks like. It's starting to take shape.
It's John's truck, so he's loving it. He's enjoying the process. I think it's coming together a lot quicker than he expected, so I'm just gonna keep on trucking. So we're up here in the highest elevation of the shop I've ever worked before. John liked the pitch of the roof and the way I was going about it, so he said, take the reins and go with it. So I went with it. I went double strength. I even went triple strength. I set up all those 1-inch risers, got the bows across the top. I put 45-degree gussets on every upright, and then I went in with 1x2 underneath those ribs, and that aligned everything, made a 3-inch gap to put tons of insulation in it, and it's super strong.
Now that the cab has been stretched and the roof has been stretched, I'm kind of worried what it's going to look like overall when it's done. Is it going to look like it was made that way, or is it going to look like somebody piecemealed something together?
The center of the roof is super simple. It took about 10 minutes, just cut them, screwed them in place just to hold them. The sides are a different story.
I want to see how he makes the nice curves in the metal so it will look like it was made that way from the factory. How are you going to make sure the radius is correct on this?
Just like everything else, I'm gonna wing it. The least measuring possible and the most inspiration yields fantastic results. But I will take 2 measurements. See that? We know the curve is gonna start about 11 inches here, and it's gonna start about 5 inches there. And those are the only 2 marks I'll use. One time through the roller, it'll be a perfect fit.
Well, I asked him how he's going to do this, and he just says, I'm going to wing it. So I'm going to watch how he wings it.
So we're here. We're coming in through here. We got the 5. We're gonna come in. We're gonna curve this like that, right?
Okay.
Left, right, left, right, left, right. Straight back through, and on the truck.
The hard part from what I'm seeing is how is he going to join the side, roll the metal, and have it join onto the roof itself? Oh, each time you tighten it up, it'll make the redo the curve?
A little bit tighter.
Okay.
Let's see what I did. I've only tightened the 11 side.
Uh-huh.
See, it's almost at a 90 degree.
Right.
It's almost at a 90 degree, so it's a section of a cone.
Okay. Well, that came out good.
So it's a little imperfect right here. Not really measuring. Just trying to make it work.
He rolled it, it looked really nice. And he slapped it up there and it fits. It looks good. It looks like it was made for the truck. Of course, you know I'm learning all your trade secrets.
The whole thing with this little skin mock-up thing is to get a side profile of it. And what's gonna complete that is the rear quarter. There's that extension that comes up above the rear window. It's about an 8-inch vertical rise. The trickier part is the corners. If I tried to make this in one piece, it would have been a whole bunch of nonsense. I'm gonna split it up just like I did with the sides. It's gonna be way easier to fit it in that way.
I noticed he saves a lot of parts out of what he was using off my cab. Some of the corners he had to use.
I always try to reuse the toughest parts that I would have to make. So this compound curve, if you think about it, it's a bowl. It's a big dome shape, and doing that requires a lot of stretching and shrinking, a lot of finish work. I'm gonna minimize that by using it from the old roof because it looks perfect.
He took an 8-inch piece of metal and he rolled it into a giant donut. And then he marked out the number of inches he needed to do 2 corner sections, cut it, put one corner on the driver's side of the cab to make sure everything fit, tacked it in place, and it fits. He knows what he's doing. Kind of an artist at work.
That was the savor of the game, because to build those 2 corner pieces would have kind of been a big task. Might ended up using a dog bowl or some other non-traditional approach. So this is the primary layout. Just like with the skeleton, I want you to see how the skin was. If you're cool with that shape, how it jogs, you know, all these lines will be trimmed back. This is just the generic layout of how the skin will fit on the skeleton.
I'm good with the way it's going. It's looking really nice.
I like it. Gives the truck a really aggressive nose down look, and I think it's cool.
Can't wait till you get it done. Feeling really good. The way the roof is coming together, the way the whole truck's coming together, and how fast he's doing it. I'm having fun watching.
There's a few more details I gotta get to finish up this truck, but before I do that, I wanna get the truck outside and put the box on. We made our measurements, but I've been wrong before. The whole thing is trying to pull it out of this shop in one piece. Sometimes you just need a friend with a big old hook. Oh yeah, there it is now. Put in a request. This is a huge task, but luckily, I got friends in high places. The crane saved the day. I can't lift this box, and I don't really have anything to lift it up that high, so without Leonard, we were stuck in the mud. The cool factor is this box was made to be lifted by a crane. So it's got these mounting points already put in, there's D-rings in place. Simple process of slinging it and lifting it up. It's hard to know how much this thing weighs, but gauging by Leonard's experience with his crane, he's estimating to be 2,000, 2,200 pounds. That's like a small car. That way. It's like the magic carpet ride. I've been waiting my whole life for this. I've always wanted to take a magic carpet ride, and I guess this is as close to it as I'm gonna come, so I'm gonna take full advantage of the moment. It's working. It's working. Well, I needed to get on top of the box to hook up all these straps, and I figure instead of getting back off the box and then getting back on the box, I'm just gonna stay on for the ride. Keep it in, keep coming. 6 inches. Oh, drop it. Everything seems like it fits good. We got plenty of room between the cab. We're not hanging over the back bumper. And I think the roof height looks very proportional with the box height. This box was meant to be mounted to one of these trucks, so it's a perfect fit. I could get used to this. I'm gonna take up stuntman in my next career. The good news is John's truck is finished. It's looking good. Bad news is he can't be here to check it out. He's in the hospital. He had to have emergency surgery. His back hasn't been very good through this whole ordeal. The only way to get in touch with him, I figure, is to give him a Skype call. So how you feeling, man? Everything went okay?
I've been struggling for a while. You've seen me when at the shop, I'd end up sitting down and stuff. Just trying to walk was a pain. Well, the back finally let go. I saw my doctor and he looks at me and he goes, "No, you're being admitted today, emergency surgery tomorrow."
Well, better sooner than later.
It's a little bit worse shape than I thought.
Well, like you said, you're the stubborn one, so. Well, the good news is your truck is finished. Everything is done, man. It's looking good.
Perfect.
John hasn't seen the truck in its finished state, so I sent him some photos and I could see him light right up.
It's got the picture you sent me. Those look good.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get into it.
John loved the side window. His request for the exhaust placement was right on. John wanted to one-up it by moving it all the way to the rear bumper and turning it up over the top of the box.
The details that we were talking about and you came up with, they really came out good. They made the truck look better overall, more functional, I think, overall, too.
So I was able to find these 2 air ride seats from a semi-truck. So I plumbed those into the airline. They run off the stock air system. They're fully adjustable, lumbar support, armrests, the whole 9 yards, man.
Oh, a surprise.
Yes.
Excellent.
So,
I'm going to have a soft riding truck.
Exactly. Before, you know what it was like driving around. It was a total banger. So now everything has suspension, including the seats.
It's a bobblehead truck. Now it's going to be more comfortable.
Yeah, it'll be totally smooth. It's ready to go.
Next project is figured out a lift gate to get me into the cab.
Sure, right. That's the thing, the never-ending project.
Well, thanks for all your work and effort and put things together for me. I can't wait to get there. I got to get better so I can go check out my truck.
That's it, man. We'll meet up whenever you're ready. It was good to get this project completed for John. This was, one of those bucket list things. He had this thing on his mind for a long time. I think it's really going to give him some inspiration to get healthy. He wants me to just come take a look at what he's got and make a decision to build him a cool truck. It's pretty clear that Bill's an optimist. I think that he thinks that I can do anything. And he's pretty close. But he had a few things that were too far gone. This thing's pretty rough. Everything's fixable to a point, but I don't think this is the one. He had one cab that was up here that it looked like a freaking asteroid hit it. I don't know what to say. It was completely wasted. You can see where all the panels come together. Water's been sitting in there and it's just rotted from the inside out. I nixed that. He showed me a few other things he had laying around. And I really think this 48 International, it's a KB8. I think this is a perfect candidate. This is the one we're using.
The KB8 International that I ended up with came from Montana, and a pretty straight cab for a 1948. It reminds me very much of my childhood on the chicken farm. The first one we had was a similar body style, and I remember it well. So I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be cool.
It's got a couple dents in the roof, but there's no cancer. Only a little surface rust. Looking around, he's got this KB8. I liked it because there was no rot. Take a little hammering to get the roof back into shape, but it looks good. I think this is the one. Doors operate smoothly. Dash is there. They've usually been picked clean, but this is really sweet. It's got all the knobs, gauges. It's like super old school. It's cool. It's pretty crazy how a truck this big would have such a tiny little cab. I mean, to have 2 big guys in here, going to work on the farm or whatever they're doing, not much room. It's all business in here. It's got the VIN number tags. looks legit. This is a good start. Seems like it's all here. There's pieces all over the place, but they all look good. Yeah, this is a really cool fender. I'm not familiar with the bigger international stuff in these early years. It's got some big, giant headlights, and it's in good shape. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No real rust, just a little weathering. I guess this is the donor chassis. He says it's in good working condition. The plus on this is it's got a low mileage, really powerful, modern turbo diesel engine with an automatic transmission. It's just too big for my shop. We'll have to do it here. The fact that we have all the parts for this makes it a lot easier. Typically I have to try to find some stuff, but it's all here, so I'm ready to get down. Everything I have done so far has been show car stuff, street car stuff. Building a cool custom truck is pretty much the same process, but the fact of this is it's got to be strong. It's got to be functional, and that's the challenge. Before I get started, I just wanted to get a quick look at how the cab looks sitting on the chassis. It's great to see the cab fit on the chassis. I really like the look of the original cab, and I'm glad I didn't have to cut it up. The problem is, the 48 fenders are set up for a much narrower axle. I made some measurements. I'm gonna widen these fenders 3 inches on each side. I'm gonna weld them all together and then fit it up. I'm already committed to what I'm doing.
We had the body off and laid it here, and in a very, very short order, he was widening the fenders, and I'm going, wow, how involved are we really gonna get?
The whole deal with how this thing is being widened is really just like creating your own puzzle pieces. So I put the fenders where I wanted them and just put in this high-cut piece of sheet metal to just make it happen. It seems like a huge deal just to get these things set up, but that's only the beginning. This is all preliminary steps. All the work I've done so far has been on the outside of the sheet metal. There's a lot of interior stuff, namely the engine and intercooler, radiator. They're huge. Since the thing's all in one piece now, I have to trim back all the excess sheet metal that's hanging around on the inside. My biggest concern with this build is the sheer size of it. It's a big truck. It's like 8 feet wide. So I'm basically just gonna put it on there and we'll see how it looks.
When I first walked in on this cab, I had my little grandson Lincoln with me, and he oohed and awed about it, and Ian liked that, I think.
Might seem silly, but Bill's grandson is here, and having him to review my work really helps out. Everything I do, I like to have sort of a childlike quality, you know, like a big toy. He looks at it, and it's Tonka time. Straight up, let's play. I was stoked to get the cab and the nose up on the chassis. Everything looks like it's gonna work out. It fits good, it's gonna steer. I'm charged, I'm ready to go.
When I saw the cab on the chassis for the first time, I went, oh yeah, this guy nailed it.
Well, it looks like he's got a bunch of trailer hitch stock laying up here. So this should work for the slider. He's got more than enough. I want to make this nose slide forward and pivot. I think the trailer hitch stock will be the perfect thing to make this work. That's the stuff, man. So my idea for the sliding tilt nose, I got this trailer hitch receiver stock, and he has the interior section for that. See, it's different than the standard stuff because it's got rounded edges. So it slides on there pretty nice. I thought I'd take the rust off, but that seems like it acts as sort of a bearing. So this will be incorporated to the truck frame, 2 of them parallel, and then I'll cut 2 sections of this off, and the whole nose will slide forward, and then there'll be pivots here. So it slides off of the front of the truck and then pivots up. It's a telescopic square steel tube. It's super strong. I have a feeling it's gonna work out perfect. You can see here how they'll pivot. What I have to do now is create a cross brace that doesn't attach anything except the hinges so that the whole nose and bumper will rotate around this assembly. I have to widen this bumper no matter what. The whole concept with reusing material is that it gives you something you couldn't have thought of in advance. That's my trip, man. That's what I like to do. Find something and make it work. This is gonna be a recessed shape for the license plate to hang out in. The bumper is convex, it's curved on the front. The lip is about the same as this, about 2 inches, but then it curls forward. So I just left a lot of extra material out here so I can just put each side of the bumper welded in here and it'll be real strong. This grill's a little bent, so it's a little deceptive, but the whole framework is squared up with the body, so. I guess I'm gonna just cut the bumper right in half and just kind of fit it and see what it looks like. I want these guys to be an even left and a right, so I'm actually gonna just bolt them together through the holes, and I'll make a scribe across so that the left and the right sides are equal. I'm just gonna tack this on. I'm gonna use this line as the top edge and make it parallel with that. Just like backwards, sort of. That's the straightest crooked bumper I've ever seen. I'll take it. Doesn't have to be perfect, just better be real good. It's a pretty cool idea because there was never a bumper this wide. None of those trucks had a French license plate. Nobody's got it like this. The whole thing is it's super subtle. It's like I'm all grown up. All right, this is more like it. Usually I'm laying on the ground underneath stuff. I feel a little more in my element. So all I'm gonna do here is we still have the hinge that's just floating. The big structure in the center is something I'm gonna tie into. Just gonna find some kind of a bar. Maybe I'll use the 2-inch stock we have, and I'll just weld it on, cut those braces away, and it should pivot. This is a pretty badass saw. This 2-inch tube is attaching on the far end to that big center section that I made, which is super strong. And it's gonna come across, hit the tab on this hinge, and also hit the bumper itself. So it'll be like a 3-point bracket hidden inside. Puts a little more strength in the whole assembly because even though you can't see it because everything's squared, there's a lot of triangulation in here. Helps with moving forward and backwards and up and down. All right, so the last part of this is getting the sheet metal attached to the pivoting bumper. The truck was a little bit off level. I'm not sure what's going on there. So that could be in the suspension. All I did was put a floor jack under the axle, and I got the whole bumper and the chassis leveled perfectly. Fortunately, there was this car lift here, so I just attached a piece of that to the cross bracing and kind of strapped it off to the motorhome over there and just got everything squared up. A little pushing and pulling, but now that it's in shape, centered, and level, I'm gonna just build a frame at a 2-inch square, same stuff we've been using. I'm gonna make an arch that goes up underneath each side of the fender, and then just build some kind of gusseting around that just to grab all the sheet metal so it doesn't get out of shape when it lifts. So you got this old bracing in here. My idea is to come back right near the slider there and then arch up around, grabbing that original brace and also having something up here in the top of the center of the fender. This truck was not set up for anything like this. The engineers never imagined this for this vehicle. So I'm just building like a whole new front of the frame, basically. It's a bunch of jigging up and making sure everything's square, and then attaching it to the chassis so that it's strong and in line. So the whole idea is, as this bumper's pivoting, this will pivot as well, but it'll offer support to the sheet metal. So I'm gonna do that on both sides, and then I'll follow up with those arch shapes. I've seen Bill come peeking around. You know, I've been hard at work. I think he's a little skeptical, but that only fuels the fire. That's making me want to make this happen. Yeah, the idea with using these curved pieces is by putting them through that machine, it makes them incredibly rigid. It puts a lot of stress in it. So these, along with a few other gussets, will be the support of all the sheet metal inside. The way that this curve comes in is going to be perfect. You see it intersects the original bracket in the fender. I can just trim that back, weld it up, and I'll make a miter joint down at the bottom here. It'll work out good. Once I got the under structure in place, I had to move on to the gravel pan. It was the last thing I needed to do to see if my idea was gonna work. The original truck has like this splash pan, gravel pan, whatever you wanna call it. It's like a trim sheet metal that goes between the bumper and the fenders. All right, so I'm gonna try to splice these pans in. The dimensions from the fender to the bumper are a little bit different. And there's no real reason to use these except that I like the little design. It makes it look a little more old-fashioned. The frame spot doesn't really match up as it did in the other one. I'm probably just gonna cut them in half and piece together what I can. It would have been 10 times easier to just take a piece of steel and fill in the area where the gravel pan is. It's little things like this gravel pan modification that are my signature. See, this got split in half before it was all taken apart, so this guy will just weld right up to the grill like that. I'll lap it onto the bumper, steam it in, cut it right through there, move it over. This little bump doesn't line up with the frame, so I'll probably just make a new shape to cover the frame that'll sort of represent what was there. Right, so we're gonna cut her up, weld her in, get her done. Trying to use the original stuff because it's got these cool embossed ridges in it, and that's really gonna sell it. When somebody looks at it, it looks old, factory stock, but it's mutated, and that's really cool. There's a lot of work in getting this to fit, but it's worth it in the end, I know it. Par for the course. All of this work, I finally get the thing ready to tilt, and it's stuck. Bill's standing right there. It's just perfect.
It wouldn't move. It wouldn't move. And I went back to the, damn, it's so heavy, we can't do it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, now what?
When you got 5 million welds, your percentage of some attaching themselves to the cab is increased. So in the end, that's what happened. The thing would not hinge open because it was welded shut. Like that. And it'll pivot up. Like that. There it is. You got a tilt nose.
It is just awesome. Really cool. Everything I hoped it would be.
I was going for the KO, but I hung in there. I was bobbing, I was weaving, I was ducking. Pulled it off.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears by that young man right there.
I find it easier to just put like a whole bunch of stuff all over the table, and it's kind of like a cooking show, you know? I don't really know what I'm doing, just as long as it's green, and I'll spray it. Put a little of that, shake of that, stir in some of that over medium heat, and bake for 30 minutes. I think what I'm gonna do is just put a big heavy coat, first wet base coat on the roof, and then I'll move over to the doors after I get the first coat on the cab. Got this thing painted, assembled. This truck is clean. I mean, it's really badass. I wish I could drive it. The cool factor is that it's super subtle. The few people who've seen it are just blown away. Just because it looks like a stock truck. I mean, it's hard to tell. And you do the special hood and you show them what's going on. And it's cool. I can't wait to take this thing to a show. The thing I like most about it is the front view. Obviously, we know the fenders are widened, but you don't think that when you look at it. You just think, what a freaking big truck.
There's not one thing I would change on this truck. I love everything about it. A lot of that is due to Ian and his persistence and his fabrication.
My job was all the heavy fabrication and assembly, and then Bill got down on all the accessories and finishing parts. He polished out all the stainless steel, got some bitchin' aluminum rims, got the special mirrors, the chrome horns, the air cleaner. I mean, he knows what a truck needs to be legal on the road, so he fitted out with everything DOT approved and all the trick, cool-looking stuff too.
Oh, the best thing is, of course, the tilt front end that I was very apprehensive about. You know, it's just awesome. I mean, I've showed it to people and they go, really? How does that work? Well, works like this, and you just pump this hydraulic jack and it tilts and goes out. But people that are not even car or truck people are very like, wow, it's just something way different. And that, of course, is the best part. And that it still has the old look. When it's rolling down the road, you can't tell the front tilts like that. But when you stop and you tilt it, cool.
The cool factor, it's like, it's a real question mark. That's the whole thing. If people look at it, and guys who know trucks are like, there was no roll-off trucks in 1948.
I think Ian, as time has gone along, and I've done the little things that I've done to it, he now gets that it's going to be a working truck. I don't think he really got that before because he's never built anything like this. It's mostly show cars and toys. It's a show truck and it's a toy, but it's a working all of that. It's a multi-functioning truck. It'll function as a flatbed truck, a dump truck, a van, does everything. And that is the beauty of that truck. Yeah, I just use it mainly as a toy. If my wife were here, she'd say it's an expensive toy, which that's okay. It pays for itself and I have fun and that's what life is. But the truck itself works perfectly. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with it. Turned out great.
In the end, I mean, Bill is stoked. He's super happy about it, and I'm jealous. That means it's a good project.